Crypto Kids, I want to cover why the price of Bitcoin is dumping. It's primarily due to a geopolitical escalation that has taken place over the past 2 hours. We streamed it live on the Moonshow channel, but I want to break it down to you here on the crypto channel as well. It doesn't look great, and the price of Bitcoin is seeing a drop on the 1 hourly time frame. However, it's important to zoom out and look into the macro, where the macro picture looks much better than the zoomed in 15-minute to 1 hourly time frames. But there are important things to be looking out for in terms of price action, and we will cover that for Bitcoin. We will cover Ethereum too. Ethereum is at a point of decision, and depending on that decision, we're going to see, in my opinion, a pretty significant move. So stay tuned. We're going to cover all the necessary topics. Let's begin with the geopolitical events. So the geopolitical events, you guys know my stance on geopolitical events. I don't commentate much about them. I will just cover the very, very basic fundamentals, and any extra research you want to do, I definitely recommend checking out Bloomberg. They will give you the latest data into what is happening. But you can obviously see that there's been an attack in a very populous, in a highly populated area, and it's definitely very concerning. Very concerning indeed, in my opinion. If this will escalate more or not, that I don't know. That nobody can know. Time will tell. If you want to position yourself in a more risk-averse way, then obviously looking into altcoin holdings and potentially de-risking there could make sense. I'm personally not really going and changing anything in my cryptocurrency portfolio. We can look into a time where there was geopolitical escalation, and it was a time of its time of very much concern, and a time of very much fearfulness. I remember this. It was 2.5 months ago, and Bitcoin fell from the 110s down to about $98,000. But eventually, we rebounded to the upside. And in all of these geopolitical tensions and geopolitical conflicts, yes, there is initial scare, which leads to price going to the downside. But from my experience, in long term, Bitcoin always recovers. And because of that fact, I'm not really selling. Even my altcoins, I'm not selling them. I'm just keeping everything as it is at this moment in time. So I wanted to let you know that. But like I said, if you want more and more updates, I recommend Bloomberg. They give you the most recent data. It's all available on Bloomberg. The most recent headline was delivered 11 minutes ago. But yeah, that's the very fundamentals of the geopolitical situation that is happening. When we zoom out to the more 4 hourly timeframes, you can see that the inverse head and shoulder was doing so well this morning. We even reached up to $13,000, but sadly we've seen the break to the downside. The integrity of this inverse head and shoulders, to be honest with you, with that candle is loosening. You guys know my position. If Bitcoin breaks above 13.4, then I add to my existing longs on weeks, right? You guys know that. If we see a break below the bull and bear market support band, then I unfortunately would go and close my long positions and enter short positions. It's as simple as that. There's no need to overcomplicate this analysis, in my opinion. If the inverse head and shoulder neckline is broken, which would also break the micro bearish structure in the short term, I would expect 16.8, and I would even add to my long positions. If the bull and bear market support band is broken at the 108 level, that is when I start considering closing shorts or longs and go into short positions that would require a confirmation on the weekly time frame. But if I see that confirmation, that's the time where I exit longs, which is not a time that we're at currently. There's still good hope because in the prior 2 cycles, Bitcoin bounces from the bull and bear market support band in September and heads to one final rally to the upside before ending its bull markets. I still think that that's the likely scenario, obviously as long as the bull and bear market support band is intact. So that is the Bitcoin analysis. Ethereum is at the very final end of its 4 hourly symmetrical triangle. We're going to see a break, and that break is going to be volatile. I'm lenient on more of the bearish side of things. Because we have a bearish divergence on the 4 hourly and daily timeframes. There's been a lot of selling from whales and the Ethereum Foundation this week. So I still expect a $4,000 Ethereum on weeks, which you can sign up to using the first link in the description down below. I still have a limit order to buy Ethereum at 3.9. Overall, I'm very bullish on Ethereum. I expect $8,000, and we've been longing since $1.5, $1.6,000, and that's given us the freedom to be more relaxed and then DCA in as we please to do so. But I do expect a volatile move just simply because the past 2 weeks have been super volatile, and that usually leads to a volatile breakout or breakdown. When we get the CPI data, that could give us the clear picture that's happening in 2 days' time. and that will give us also a clearer picture for the FOMC event, which will be taking place in 8 days' time. Before we conclude the hack and updates on the hack, we broke the news to you last night. All the major software and hardware wallets have come out and given their statements. From what I understand, it's been a widespread hack, but if you look at the hackers' wallet themselves, this was 4 a.m. in the morning. I don't assume it would have gone up so much, but you can see that the hacker only made $481, right? So this is a massive widespread hack, and usually you would expect millions of dollars to be drained, but the hacker wallet only has made this morning $500. So because that is the case, I assume that it's not really something to be as concerned about, as long as I'm checking and making sure that the recipient address of the crypto that I'm sending to on the wallet, if that is word by word, letter by letter, accurate with the actual recipient address that my friend has or my colleague has or whatever, whoever I'm sending it to, I will have to double check, triple check that every single character is the same as the wallet address that the person has sent to me to send them crypto. That's the only thing, because that's the major place. The clipboard, when you copy and paste, that's the place where the hacker, it's one of the areas where the hacker is targeting. So as long as I'm personally double checking, and as long as it's through a hardware wallet, then to my understanding, it's fine. But maybe it's still okay to avoid crypto transactions for the next few days until we sort of settle this once and for all. That could be an idea. But with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a pleasant afternoon. Wishing for the health and safety of everyone. And with that said, I'll see you all on the next video. Take care, guys. And as always, bye-bye.